Hi everybody, Gary Williams here for Toolbarn.com's Barn Banter. Well, it's the holiday season, it's finally here, and you all know what that means, don't you? Food, family, friends, power tools, chicken wire, old pieces of lumber, PVC out. Oh, I'm sorry, you're probably sitting there thinking, huh, what's the matter with that guy? Well look, we're going to take all these things and combine them in such a way that you can make some kind of cool gifts or decorations with them. It'll look pretty nice, I think, if you just stay with us and see what we do. First, we're going to take this chicken wire and some old lumber and turn it into kind of a cool way to display photos. And then we're going to show you how to take pieces of 2x4 and turn those into a nice way to show photos as well. Those would make nice gifts for the kids. We're going to show you PVC and how to turn it into a tree or any other kind of a design that you'd like. So stay with us because we also have some special experts to help us out with these projects. Stick around. This is a great time of year to get the family involved in some of these projects. For example, the ones that involve decorations, or they can make gifts with some of these things, or they're just simply fun to do. So get the kids involved. Don't let them use the power tools. You do that yourself, but get the kids involved. There are a lot of things they can take part in. Now let's begin with the PVC tree. We took a reclaimed piece of wood about 2x3. We sanded it down, but it already had kind of a nice beaten up look, so that's all we did to it. We used painter's tape to make a tree design on the board and set it aside while we worked on the PVC. We cut various diameters of PVC pipe into pieces ranging from about 1.5 inches to 3 inches deep. After we cut the pipe, we sanded the sections a little on one end to smooth out some sharp edges. Both the cutting and the sanding are loud and messy, so use eye and ear protection and be prepared for a lot of cleanup. As you can see, it looks a little bit like an explosion in a coconut processing factory or something. You can get the kids involved here in this next stage, by the way. By the way, these are my granddaughters, Taylor and Zoe, in helping to fill in the design on the wood with the pipe sections. Now, obviously, don't glue those until you like the way everything looks on the board. Take the PVC pieces off one at a time, spread some epoxy on the unsanded side with a flat craft stick, and replace those pieces on the board right where you got them. Make sure you read the instructions on how to mix and use the epoxy, and watch the kids really close to make sure they don't glue themselves to the board or to the family dog. The epoxy cures in about 24 hours, and then you're ready to hang your tree on the wall or just lean it up against something. We hung ours with a heavy-duty mirror hanging kit, and we're using it to display different decorations that have sentimental value to our family. You can do whatever works well for you. While it took a little time to do all of this, it's actually pretty easy and well worth the trouble. If you want to get your kids into a gift-making project that's a little bit easier than this PVC tree-making project, we've got one for you. All it takes is some 2x4 scrap pieces of wood and some art supplies. Cut the 2x4s into 3.5-inch squares, as many of those as you want. That's the easy part. Once you've got those, let the kids have at them with some paint. The idea is to have kind of a weathered, rough look to the blocks. We enlisted my granddaughter Taylor and her friend Jaciana in this messy part of the job. My other grandkids stepped in a little bit later. After the paint dries, take some photos and tear them so that they fit on one side of the block. And now the artsy stuff comes into play, putting on what's called Mod Podge to coat one side of the block. After that's done, you stick a picture to the coated side and apply more Mod Podge over that. And I'll tell you what, the kids love making a mess anytime, but when it's a productive mess, it's not such a bad thing. This stuff dries pretty fast, and when it does, your child has a personal gift that he or she can give to somebody. It's a nice present and a nice way for your kids to get involved in a project. And you can take these things and display them on your mantle or other shelf in your house, or you can do what we did here at Toolbarn.com headquarters and put them on our workbench. I mentioned the festive use of chicken wire in the open now, didn't I? Well, we're going to come to that part right now, and we're going to use that chicken wire and some pretty cheap pieces of wood to make this. We began by taking these inexpensive pieces of wood and mitering the corners in order to make kind of a nice frame. We used glue, mending plates, and wood joiners to bring these corner joints together, and it all came out looking, pretty rough, but that is how it's supposed to look. Once you've got your frame, whether it's a really well-made one that you put together with your own two hands or one that you went out and cheated on and bought in a store, you're ready to put your special assistants to work. In this case, I had my grandson Beckett and my granddaughters Zoe and Taylor go to work cutting out pictures Once they had the pictures ready, they used these little tiny clothespins to hang photos, and you can hang greeting cards or any other number of things to that chicken wire, but they used photos. This is what the finished product looks like. I drafted my wife to whitewash this frame, and I think it looks pretty nice. You can kind of see the grain in here. You see the knots in the wood, and I'll tell you what, the whole project probably cost maybe 10 bucks, if that. It was a great project. It's fun to work on with your family. A lot of these projects are fun projects to work on your family, and you don't have to just confine that kind of activity, of course, to the holiday season, although that's when it seems like a lot of people do this stuff. But I would encourage you to look online where we found all the projects that we did today. Find some things that you can do year-long, 12 months a year with your kids, with your family. Those projects bring people together, and they're fun, and you get some pretty cool things out of it as an end result. So we really appreciate your watching Barn Banter. We hope you have a great holiday, and we hope to see you again next time.